No, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Yes, let's do it. The Toucher and Hardy email segment is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car or works accident, you got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. Our emails can be found at 985thesportshub.com. Follow us on social media at Toucher and Hardy, at Hardy985, and on Instagram at Fred Toucher. Jonathan, I was making a point to a caller, and it required me remembering statistics from 3 different games in real time, which is almost impossible for me. I got very frustrated at John.
You said
hang on! God damn it, Jonathan! Yes. Not only is John known for being a habitual joke stepper, but he's now moved on to stepping on stats and sports takes. I really blame his sense of entitlement to his father being a tax attorney. Brian Scott might be onto something after all.
Yep. Mitch said, who peed in John's birdseed this morning? He seems to have his feathers all in a fluff and has been quite rude to Fred and Hardy. I think you should report him to HR, Hostile Raptors.
Have I been rude to you two? I would think it would be the other way.
No, I was rude.
I also have a John Wallach email, believe it or not.
Whoa, Adam contributing.
It's a little bit of a different one. It says, this song has been in my head for a couple of weeks. It might have been your fault. If not, please play it for Johnny Nighthawk. See how fast John can...
A cameo, it's candy.
Wow. That's impressive.
That almost makes up for him not getting the David Silver song that Babyface produced yesterday. It was very disappointing. We had a guy named Bob call in. He was pissed because I guess it was Felger and Maz because it was at 3 o'clock. Yesterday at 3 o'clock, he heard guys about to swear. He
was acting like he was the biggest bull in the ring.
And he said he had a big mouth. I said, I'd like to give him a big, sloppy, open-mouth kiss on that big mouth of his.
Well, I don't know about that.
And he goes, I don't know about that. It says, I'm not sure why, but your call with Bob made me laugh out loud so hard I was crying. I really, and the dog got concerned that I had come to check on him. He probably couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag.
Well, it hurts your brain.
That guy hung on to that for almost, for over 12 hours. He hung on to that.
Yeah.
He really needed to get it out.
Overboard with the Hawk Tui girl.
But that was another station. They went overboard with the Hawk Tui girl.
Yeah.
There was some station out there, I can't remember which one he said. And
it's a station in Providence that no longer exists. It got sold as flip format.
Yeah, and I guess he's saying that they got their comeuppance. It's almost it's a comeuppance because they had gone all in on the Hawk Tui girl, which there was a lot there. There was a lot of meat on that bone.
Hawk Tui.
He says Hawk Tui, but I just want to...
It's like Hong Kong Fooey. It's
right.
Hawk Tui.
Well, it's Hawk Tui. It's a kind of like a generic brand, Hawk Tui.
You mentioned the John not getting the song yesterday when we were starting that game. Somebody had emailed me yesterday afternoon and said that 7 o'clock Songwriters game was an excellent start to the summertime slowdown since there are no sports. Need Fred to host 1 game per month.
I have received much feedback on how much people enjoyed Fred hosting the game.
I hated it so much. I hated him.
I already
so
have
much
one for him to host next, maybe week after next, whatever week I'm filling in for John. I think I have one that Fred will host for you and I that day.
Oh, nice!
All right,
I loved it. Big fan.
Justin said, "I dare say everyone enjoyed it, besides young sickly Nicholas, who clearly wasn't listening because he incorrectly labeled it twice on the podcast as 100 greatest vocalists of all time."
Great.
I was thinking we were about to guess who had the best pipes, but I guess not.
Nick had a lot on his plate. He has to answer the phone half the time.
I'm brittle.
Half the time, Nick has to pick up that phone.
Science concert?
Yeah, he didn't have time to be listening. He's constantly in there ignoring the phone.
Oh, no. What's that?
Right. This is on the Jaylen Brown thing. I enjoyed listening to you guys talk about how people are refusing to accept that Jaylen Brown is not unhappy just because they want it to be true. You could not be more right about how absurd it is when people construct their own realities while ignoring the actual facts of a situation. Totally unrelated question. If you guys ever listen to Felger and Maz, that's from stop. That's from Phil. Yeah.
I read that one. It's like, hold on a second. Totally unrelated. If you ever listen to Finger
Right.
Pass, when it comes to the straw man.
Listen, I'm all for a straw man argument, and I'm all for, like, going down that road. But there is a point when you play two clips in a row with the team saying a guy's not frustrated, a guy saying he's not frustrated, and the clip that led into those two comments was just a ex-player going, Jaylen Brown's frustrated. He had a really good season, and he showed himself to be a good leader. Okay, those are two good things. Now, why is he frustrated? He just said he was frustrated. There's a point where I got to tap out. That, like, I'm going to take them both at their word. I'm going to think that I'm not quite sure what would make him frustrated. No one has said. I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe he's not frustrated. I'm just going to accept their words on that.
You and I got an email here, Fred. Don't worry, I'm not going to read the body of it, but it concerns the Mike Vrabel story, and he says there's an emerging trend, and he's
I saw that.
Yes, he's about the historically horny linebacker room with the New England Patriots, and he ends with saying he's going to look further and do a deep dive on Willie McGinnis, and we'll report back with any findings.
Yeah, because if you don't know what we're talking about, Vrabel, TMZ has come out, went on a boat ride, a 3-hour boat ride where the two of them rented a boat in Tennessee back in 2021 when she was pregnant with her soon-to-be son, Michael, the one she named after Mike Vrabel. She said she named it after the greatest player coach in league history, and she named it Michael, and she was dating Mike Vrabel. I wonder, that's crazy. Why wouldn't he have cut it off when he found out she named her kid after him? Like, that seems like a huge red flag. Again, there's times where, it's too much. And you're getting in over your skis. There's a time where, like, reality, because you can get swept away in, like, romance and love, but there's a time where reality's got to sit in that, like, you're married and you don't want to leave your wife, so there has to be some healthy boundaries set up in this affair. Like, wouldn't you have to agree, like, we're having this affair, none of us want to leave our significant other, we're going to keep this a secret, these are the emotional boundaries that I'm putting in place, right. And if 5 years ago she named her kid after him and he was banging her, that's a bit of a concern. Can
we give her the benefit of the doubt and say it was a name that they had long decided on beforehand, or it's a family name or something?
No, she said, I named him after the greatest linebacker, player, coach of all time. Or she didn't say linebacker, but best player, coach of all time or something like that.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah, but Vrabel's a better coach than Mike Singletary. Not as good a linebacker, but a better coach. And so I guess it's a toss-up. But I'm thinking of it as she was banging Mike Vrabel at the time.
It's probably a better bet.
She might have been referring to Mike Vrabel. And again, according to the Irish Times, Rossini's...
the paper of record in Dublin.
I just say the Irish Times because it's funny where we were henpecking information from. A person close to Rossini said that she's, she wants to keep her kids protected, that she is in crisis mode, and that she's extremely sad that her affair is over.
So now what? She's not allowed to be sad now?
Again, I married you. We have 2 kids together. Like,
I know, but I'm in
can
love
you really
with this
be
guy.
Trying to save your marriage while actively mourning the affair being over? Seems like you're asking a lot of the other guy.
That's a bit much. Yeah.
And again, if I'm Vrabel and I read that, I'm like, oh no, because that's the thing is that there's a wild card here with nothing to lose. Like, if she gets divorced and she doesn't have a job, the way that she will reintroduce, this is just a fact, the way that she will reintroduce herself into public life is by doing interviews. These interviews are not going to be held on the condition they don't ask about Mike Vrabel, unless she does it with Stu Godso, I guess is her best friend. But I can't even imagine he could do that. But she'll have to go around and, like, do interviews. They're going to ask her about Vrabel. It seems like her personality and how she's been a success is being, like, open and, like, sharing. So she's going to have to talk about it. And that's the thing that if I'm Vrabel, that's what keeps me up at night. is that there's a wild card in this situation that I can't control, and that's the woman that I was having an affair with that may or may not have named her firstborn after me, and certainly by reports is mourning the end of this affair in like, saying it to other people. That, if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm concerned, because if I'm Mike Vrabel, I want this all stopping now, right?
Yeah.
Because if he turned around and married her, then it stops too. So you really have two options. Like, she doesn't, just no one ever talks about it again, the two out of the two of them. Or they go and they run off together. They get divorced and they run off together, like that couple from the Today Show. That you run off and you get married. Or, you run off and become a couple. Those are the two ways where you have control of the situation.
Who's the couple from the Today Show?
Remember, they got fired because it was a black man and a white woman. They got fired because they were both married. One of them was married to Dean Cain. One of the woman was married to Dean Cain.
I do remember this story. I don't remember the names of the two people.
I remember it as well.
I remember those. I remember this story.
Yeah, and who knows their names? I don't know their names, but they had an affair, and they ended up breaking up with their significant others and getting married. But in the Today Show, fired them. I don't know why the Today Show fired them for having sex. I don't know what the issue is with that. Seems like if you're both
brought some unseemly publicity to the product.
I would argue that, because it's like neither of us is in a position of power. It was consensual sex. We're two adults. It's really none of your business if we have sex or not. That's where I would lay on that. I don't know, by taking this job, I've now surrendered my body to you, and you can tell me what I can do with my body.
From Good Morning America,
All right,
Amy
whatever.
Robach and TJ Holmes were involved in widely reported romantic relationship, both still married to their respective spouses, but not Dean Cain.
And being related to the guy responsible for the Wonderland murders has got to be a huge responsibility. Oof. And it was just to overcome that, to get on Good Morning America. Does anyone understand the reference?
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
I'm with you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, very good. That is the email segment. We will be back. We will get to our stack, and then we will bid you adieu. That is coming up here, the headlines.
Ticket not punched.
Hardy.
No, the ticket's not punched.
Fred.
You got a bunch of stuff wrong when you talk. So much for this country.
Dutcher and Hardy.
I guess this country's a bunch of buffoons that don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
There's no question what we want. There's no question when you look at what's true that though we did a lot of good things, we lost in the first round, and we were also 3-11 against the top three seeds in the West and the other top
3-11
two
is
in the
LA.
East. And so we've got to get better.
Tracy McGrady said that Jaylen Brown was frustrated. Then we played Brad Stevens saying he hadn't heard that, and then we played Jaylen Brown saying he's not frustrated. So a lot of the show's been devoted to why he's frustrated, despite the fact there's no evidence that he is, and that both parties say that he's not. But Jonathan, go ahead.
No, there is some interesting things to what Brad Stevens said yesterday, and you got a hint of it. You got a hint of it in that clip that we just played. He is not sold on the validity of a 56-win season during the regular season. He just mentioned that the team didn't do well against the best teams in the league. And he also basically said there were a lot of teams tanking this year. The league's going to be a lot tougher next year. So it doesn't sound to me like he's all that impressed with the way his team wound up.
More Patriots-like than we thought.
Yes.
In terms of who you lost to and what things are shaping up for next year.
He basically said the schedule is a lot easier than it looked. And that's not good for your boss to come out and say something like that. And he also mentioned that, our interior play was not good after watching Joel Embiid dominate whatever center they threw out there. He told the media, we have to get better, protect the rim a little bit better. He's acutely aware. He didn't sugarcoat anything yesterday. He knows his team underachieved, and he knows they need to get not just a little better, a lot better.
Yeah, some of that is walking the fans back off the ledge, though. It's like, we were there. They were good. Hold on a second. They're really looking at it. It wasn't all that good, and you lost the better teams and the tanking, so I understand what part of that is. But the one thing that was tough for me to understand, I think for a lot of people, was Jaylen Brown saying that this was one of his favorite seasons, may have been his favorite season to play in. And it's like, well, what does that mean? The one that you played without Jason Tatum for most of it? Does that speak to anything else? The one where you lost in the first round of the playoffs when you were expected to go much, much, much deeper? The one where you didn't win MVP? How could this one be the favorite? Well, thank you to Zach Cox, who had an encapsulation of everything and a quote from the 9-hour Twitch stream that Jaylen Brown did. It was a couple hours, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's done a couple hours worth of Twitch streaming now?
It's a while, yeah. He's streaming all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's every day after the season has ended, which I also find odd. But
so
all right.
Here's what Jaylen Brown said. They don't understand how overcoming adversity is a win. Like, yeah, our team, we blew a 3-1 lead. We didn't win a championship, but the amount of depth, the expectations that these same people have for us, this is why this was my favorite year, because I got to see it in practice. I got to see it in the beginning. I got to see the rookie, Hugo Gonzalez, just come in, add value, and play with fire. I got to see the young kid from Spain just turn into a monster. I got to see Jordan Walsh, who was kind of trying to find his footing and trying to find playing time and trying to get secure in himself. I watched him practice every day and grow to where he is now. I got to see Neemias Queta once again become a starting big in this lead and add value and grow every single day. I got to see Peyton Pritchard, who already was a killer, but take on more responsibility, be more of a go-to guy. I got to see that develop, and you all got to see it too.
He liked not having Tatum.
I got to see Jason Tatum come back from an injury, mentally overcome what that takes. And this is a part of the reason why this was my favorite year. You got to see all of these guys, all of my teammates grow. Got to see them overcome adversity as a group, up close and personal. And even though we didn't accomplish what we wanted to, it's no excuse. I'm not making an excuse. Obviously, the result, we're not satisfied. Sounds like an excuse. It's not.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a healthy way to live, to be able to, after a huge disappointment, be reflective and find the positives that you've gained from an experience. It's and that's something that if you were talking to a group of friends or perhaps a therapist, you would be applauded for. That's the problem with streaming yourself, is that you say it to a mass audience that's going to dissect it and pick out what they want, and then you're going to be judged for not. It's going to seem like you don't care, which I'm sure isn't true. But
I do understand it, though. He almost sounds like a fan.
No, not really, because the fans are very disappointed.
No. I'm saying in terms of like watching how these guys develop. Gonzalez is the best example. He's the one we used to laugh about. Like, I was worried watching him run. That's what we would say to Max early on in the season, right?
Yeah. Like the run was what's his face from Iowa.
Luka Garza.
Garza. That's right.
Luka
Garza is the slowest basketball player I've ever seen.
Yeah, he needs a bus to get one into the
slower than Chuck Nevitt.
Yeah, that's saying something.
But how many times did we say, like, wow, Jordan Walsh? You never really thought about him. He's out there actually contributing. And Peyton Pritchard, much to Fred's chagrin, was real good before, turned doing it an absolute invaluable piece.
Improved his game.
Yeah.
Not just a three-point shooter. Going to the basket, scoring that way.
And Brown was watching those guys like a lot of Celtics fans watch these players and said, it's kind of fun to watch these guys get better and actually turn into real basketball players.
Yeah,
something approaching it.
It dismissed the whole notion of a gap year, that this team wasn't going to play well until they lost, and then it all came back, and it was fun. Again, I would like all of this a lot more if Brown didn't dance around about how over the gap year stuff on his social media. And, Grandy didn't start sarcastically talk down to a portion of the fan base by saying, you didn't believe in this team. You didn't believe in us, because Grandy's part of the team. Mm-hmm. And then literally the moment they lose, completely switch the narrative. Yeah, it's a little hard. Like, when you're gloating over the course of a long period of time, then things don't work out, and you immediately shift to a new perspective. While healthy,
anybody says now, whatever they pretend changing history.
Yeah, whatever they pretend changing history. No, the history is that you talk down to an imaginary audience of people that are this rebellious mob that's against the Celtics, and you went gap year sarcastically the entire year, as if to say,
and everybody called it a gap year at the start, and then I started doing it satirically.
Yes, satirically, as a way to, in a way to speak down to people that felt that way. He was like dancing around about how great this team was. How dare you? All you idiots thought they'd be bad. And then literally the moment after they lose, in the first round of the playoffs, it switches to it was house money.
Stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
And it's just, look, if you follow the team and you've seen these guys all pile on this, huge patting themselves on the back about how well they were playing, and during the time, pat yourself on the back. You're far exceeding expectations, so much so that you were a pretty big favorite to go to the finals. So that's awesome. But then you lost in the first round to an inferior opponent that's getting their asses kicked by the Knicks. And you then turn around and go like, oh, no, it was really fun to like watch us grow and overcome things. Well, yeah, it was fun, but you danced around about how everyone was so stupid for saying that you weren't going to be any good. And then turns out you weren't any good.
Ahead of the Sixers.
I mean, John, if they second seed or playing whatever, they lose in the first round is losing in the first round. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. And then, well, it's championship or bust. Not necessarily. If they would have lost in the finals or even really the Eastern Conference finals, it wouldn't. I don't think people would have gone crazy. Certainly if they lost in the finals, they wouldn't have. In the Eastern Conference finals, things happen. Losing in the first round, you could be the worst play-in team, win a couple games, and lose in the first round. Who cares?
Well, to give Brad Stevens credit, and Adam, if you could turn me up, to give Brad Stevens credit.
I don't want to do that.
Okay. He understands exactly what you're talking about.
There's no question what we want. There's no question when you look at what's true that though we did a lot of good things, we lost in the first round, and we were also 3-11 against the top 3 seeds in the West and the other top 2 in the East. And so we've got to get better.
Yeah, and so that's good to hear.
He's not full. Management understands that. Management wasn't all about the narrative and then flip-flopping back and forth. Brad Stevens sees this season for exactly what it was.
But that's the reasonable take, is the Brad Stevens take, is that, yeah, we overachieved. But we overachieved in terms of record, but we weren't nearly as good as the best teams. That's what we have to strive for. Mm-hmm. So there's work to be done. Instead of in Brad Stevens, you didn't see him on social media talking jokingly about you doubted us all year. See, that's something for like Thornton to say in 2011 after they won the cup, and he says, "Suck it, Felger." That's the time to do it, because then there's no debate. You are holding a trophy in your hand.
Yes,
and no matter what, you can say anyone, even if it's one guy that doubted us. Nothing ever will take this away. I'm right, you're wrong. We have been reigned victorious. But if you spend from October till May dancing around about how great you are and how everyone was stupid, and then you lose in the first round like you could have anyway, even if you were a way worse regular season team, you can't just turn around and go, it was great.
Stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
Like, it's just... It's almost weird to me that they think they can do that. like everyone's going to go, you know what, you're right. Now, internally, Grandy, I don't know what his deal is, but if I'm Brown, like internally, that's a great way to look at it. Is like, look, this was a year of my career, a year of my life. Let's look for the positives in what happened. This is all like, that's great. But the day after you lose, that's a little hard for a fan base that was, all being told that how great you were all season by you to come to grips with, because the fan base it's not their life, they're observing another's life where they had put their stake. No one thought they were going to lose to Philadelphia. Literally, probably no one thought they were going to lose to Philadelphia. I would be surprised if you found anyone, like maybe really anyone,
in either city.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, Philadelphia. Are you kidding me?
They had no.
I don't know if you're going to get a homer pick in Philadelphia.
No.
Now you can email me one, and I'll be mistaken. But
there isn't.
But I would imagine there's few.
I don't think anyone.
So this notion that in terms of like a franchise and a fan base based on expectations that the first round exit wasn't extraordinarily disappointing is just fraudulent. It's fraudulent based on everything that was said during the regular season, not by Brad Stevens.
No, but past the first few weeks of the regular season, Yeah, the narrative quickly changed.
And I bet you if you talk to Brad Stevens, like if you saw him and like you were friendly with him and you talked to him, I bet you anything he would go like, just hold on, like be careful, like hold your horses, I'm not positive. Like his attitude would have been, this is great, but his narrative never would have changed. Like, this is great, they're playing really well and they're winning, but like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He saw
here.
from a long time out what other teams were already doing, and also, some of the teams they were losing to, and how they were beating some of the bad teams.
Exactly. Like, he understood that maybe this was fool's gold a little bit.
And as a result of that, I think as media members and fans, we should expect changes. I don't know how drastic, but there will be. He's already said he's going to add a big guy, basically. But I wonder how much he's going to flip this roster. He has 14 guys. He can easily just run this back. But adding Tatum, he's got the personnel to do that without making any changes.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
No, you can't. But I'm wondering how big a change he's going to make to this roster. Brad Stevens is kind of from the Danny Ainge school. He's not scared to make big moves like this. So I wonder if he would entertain making one. Well, getting rid of a Derek White or even flipping Jaylen. You hear that rumor the last 3 or 4 days, flip Jaylen Brown for Giannis, which I'm not in favor of.
No,
but it's something like that. I would not say is out of the realm of possibility.
The idea of bigs or multiple bigs, he was talking about.
We had a hard time generating really good looks on that first shot. So we got to figure out a way to do better in that. And I think that's again, I think that one of the things that we've got to figure out is how to have more of an impact at the rim. And I think we do need to add to our team to do that.
It's interesting. Real quick, I'll get back to this in a second. I was reading online yesterday, the Brooklyn Nets are interested in Giannis but won't trade for him because they don't want to waste the roster spots on his two brothers.
Yeah, I saw that. You sent that. That's...
I talk about satirically. That was like the joke I made. It's like you got to have 3 spots available if
Seriously,
you want Giannis.
We need Alex and we need Thanasis. We need both. We need both of them.
It's kind of weird that he insists that his brothers have to be paid members of the team.
Yeah,
if he really sticks to that, he's going to be in Milwaukee
for a long time,
forever.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone knows off the top of their head, but it would be interesting to see when that became a thing. Was it right away? Because remember, he was not a overly high draft pick.
I think he was 15.
Yeah, he was
super
thin. So I don't. For an end of the lottery player, do you agree to hire his two brothers and take roster spots away?
It must have taken some time. It couldn't have been
No, it couldn't have been right away. I can look and see when Thanasis started playing, but I mean, it must have been a couple of years in. Okay, I'm your meal ticket. I want my brothers here. Alex, I don't think, has ever played an NBA game, but Thanasis spends a lot of time flexing for everyone at the end of the bench.
I only know that Thanasis is on the team because there was the moment I'll never forget of my son telling me that Giannis's brother was on the team, and I said, "You're out of your mind. There's no way Giannis's brother's on this team," and there he was.
Okay, so Giannis drafted in 2013. Thanasis joined in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, so it took him 6 years to get the juice to get a kid in.
And then Alex wasn't signed until just this past year?
Is that right?
Well, if Giannis wants to win, he's going to, I'd probably move off of his two brothers having to be on the team.
Yeah, I think
that's a Milwaukee situation. If he goes to a bigger market, there's no way that they're going to do that.
Giannis's window is closing. He's 32. He's got a lot of miles on him. He's up for a new contract, by the way. He can decline his player option. After next season, I think he's up for a new contract. It's time for him to be serious. Because, guys like him, he's not playing until he's 38 or 39. So there's a window here.
Yes.
And if he wants to go to a contender, you gotta make some concessions.
And sadly for Milwaukee, in order to keep a player of Giannis's caliber, they probably had to just do whatever he wanted. And sadly for Milwaukee, not Giannis deserves it if he can get whatever he can. But it's just that, unfortunately, Milwaukee is looked upon like that. I have a lot of sympathy for the Midwestern industrial cities, but that's what they had to do. But I got to imagine if he goes to another team, they're going to be like, there's no way.
Right.
No.
Apparently, that was a big story in October of last year when the third brother joined in the first time. Three brothers on the same active roster. It slipped under the radar, though.
No.
I don't think they were expecting much of Alex in terms of a contributor to the team.
Well, he gets a uniform, which is nice, and they have to at least pay him the league minimum. I wonder if he just gives it back to them. I don't know what happens.
Just for all the free plane trips and meals.
Does he have to pay an environmental tax for the plane rides? I mean, it would seem like there would have to be.
He's
some
on the
kind
same
of payment.
flight, but not the bus. He has to Uber.
That's right. He's got.
Or he had to learn to fly.
We'll see you at the hotel.
Like they're like, if you want to ride the plane, dude, you're gonna have to at least co-pilot this thing. All right, I'll get the hours. Okay. I'll get up in there in the burn.
There's a jump seat in the cockpit. I can sit down.
I got a hat. I'm a pilot too.
For your health.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
So, we know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. And Hardy, what would you like to leave us with today?
First, a correction after Fred said that a couple from the Today Show, one of whom was married to Dean Cain, ran off together and left their spouses. Wrong show, wrong actor, wrong, stupid, ill-informed, misinformation, bad job by you.
What did I get wrong?
Everything. It was Good Morning America, and the hosts were TJ
GMA.
Holmes and Amy Robach. Amy Robach was married to Andrew Shue.
Whose sister is?
Elizabeth Shue.
Who was in?
Karate Kid.
And?
Invisible Man with Kevin Bacon.
And?
Leaving Las Vegas.
And? Adventures in
Adventures
Babysitting.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, it hurts your brain.
It does, Fred.
Again, that was a guy calling in to complain that Felger and Maz almost swore yesterday. He had saved that information for, I guess he called it 70. He'd saved that for 16 hours.
Yeah.
He had held on.
And then
onto
called
that.
a different show about it. John, do you want to give Fred the news that you just shared with me a moment
Yes.
ago?
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh is reporting that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there today. He's expected to finally sign this weekend.
Wow.
They won't see him again until camp, but he's going to skip all the mandatory mini camps and all that, but I'm sure he will be there for training camp.
Do you think he's disappointed that this isn't that much of a story this offseason?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
And that a local Pittsburgh radio station is the one that broke it?
Yes, I do.
Like,
Not Schefter.
Yeah, like that.
Not even Pat McAfee, this station.
Because ESPN's like so in bed with the NBA, like they have plenty to talk about because they got to go over the NBA with a fine-tooth comb. I wonder how much attention this even gets from ESPN, given that the NBA playoffs are occurring.
It's not like Pittsburgh's going to contend for a title.
And by the way, congratulations to the NBA for finding NBC Sports Network to put the playoff games on.
It's either that or Peacock, one or the other.
I love, Peacock's easier because I like talking into the microphone. Thank God these remotes have microphones on them now. This isn't old man screaming about streaming services. This is old man screaming about this is a network. Mm-hmm. Who knew NBC Sports had a network? They have NBC Sports Boston.
Oh, no, there is NBC Sports, period.
Right. But did you know that existed?
Not until I watched a game on it.
Yeah, if you want to see the Pistons, they don't value the Pistons very much. I got news for you. So they've buried them. But you got to go to NBC Sports, just NBC Sports. Now, what else is on NBC Sports? That is a question that you would rattle your brain around for. And how much are they paying? Because I have to imagine it's not a lot.
No.
Because it's not in the regular bunch of channels on cable. You guys have cable? John has cable.
Yes.
Do you have cable?
Yeah.
So it's not in the... oh, yeah, you do. Because you get to experience, like, the Gunsmoke channel and stuff. They, there's the normal set of channels that end. But then if you stick around long enough and you have the patience, you get into a universe of weird.
You get all the channels are doubled and tripled up.
Right.
Number one. So
but they throw in
like,
some originals in there.
Yeah,
though.
they do.
So I just assumed that the 1,000
1400s.
Yeah. Like once you got to 1,000s, they were just redundant for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like they're just redundant or they don't work or they're music stations or something. And Hardy's right. They repeat like all the stations that you already have. But then all of a sudden, again, if you stay patient and keep scrolling, there's a wonderland of weird stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like Frasier's on at 10:30.
My Three Sons. It's still on there. Keep going. Keep going. Lower.
That's got to be a station like legitimately for shut-ins.
And it's literally 1,000 numbers past the music channels because those are like in the 500s.
Oh, no, these are 4-digit channels. Like they're in like that's not if they go, you have a job on channel 1,412. That's not the greatest job. Like, when you're on channel 5 or channel 25, those sound like esteemed places in broadcasting. When you're on channel 1,370, it doesn't sound overly impressive.
Do you care who the Bruins captain is next year? Who
Not
the Bruins
in the
captains are?
least.
Okay, neither do I. Thank you. And we didn't spend hardly any time on the Bruins presser yesterday. I'm glad you're not interested in who the captain is. I don't even care who names the captain. I really don't. I know that was the source of something, but in terms of who's going to be playing center,
there's a progression. We're hoping that they hit their high side. People originally described Frazier as one player. Why put a ceiling there? We'll see what he's going to do. I think you described the Bergie necessarily. Wasn't described as the Hall of Fame player that he became. When he first started out of the gate. But that being said, we're hoping that every one of those guys hits their high side, and James eventually, as Marco alluded to, will get a chance in the middle of the ice.
Yeah, that would be good if Higgins could play center, considering that he desperately need a good center.
They also said Higgins would have played more in the postseason if they didn't have to win every game, which was an interesting
it's kind of odd.
Vote of confidence for the young man. Yeah, we would have played him if we didn't have to win. But, we had to win every one of those games. We can't play him.
Maybe that they're referring to being down 3-1.
Yeah.
And then there were situations where, like, they couldn't afford an upside. There could be no variable, right? Like you needed to have someone you knew exactly what you were getting. I'm in the mood to let things slide today in terms of the local teams.
Okay.
Like I'm willing to accept forever that Brown is not frustrated. I'm willing to put that to bed for eternity. And I'm willing to go with the flow with the Hagans if they didn't have to win thing and kind of getting the vibe of it.
Could you maybe tomorrow extend that sliding attitude toward John Wallach so you don't scream at him again?
Again, I will admit my own fails, my own deficiencies as a human. You don't understand how hard it is for me to remember. That was a total of 6 numbers. I had to remember 6 numbers over the course of 3 games, and I was actively clicking on the games. It was an exercise that's very difficult for me.
Okay.
And so it was more John had interrupted. Like if we're just having a normal conversation, I keep that rage within. Hang on! God damn it, Jonathan! Oh no! Don't say that. Bob's gonna call back. You know what I'd like to do with that mouth? Give it a big tongue kiss.
Well, okay. Well,
kind of threw him for a loop there.
Well, I wanted to see.
I'd like to give it a French kiss.
I would like to see the exercise. There was if you indulge the guy, what you can get away with saying. So since he was offended by something the afternoon show said,
right?
Like if you go, you're right. Like all the things you could say without him reacting negatively.
Or you could close the circle and say something offensive to him that would force him to call Felger and Mass. One or the other.
I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen. He just wanted to be agreed with. Like, you could literally say anything and you agree with him, and all of a sudden, those moral barometers are not in place. Amazing when someone agrees with someone, how much they're willing to give away with. How funny a joke is until it's about them or about something they care about.
Tell him, Fred.
Like, you can't say this word anymore. All right, great. Well, we can say everything again. No. You can't make fun of that guy.
Right.
So
he's an angel.
They were swearing yesterday?
No, they were about to swear.
They were about to.
Felger says finger banging all the time.
Yeah, that is weird.
Marty, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart doesn't stop it.
In the middle of all those Yiddish phrases, too.
Then,
it's odd.
Yeah. A picture on the radio, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, good job, Scott. You just got him in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. No. All right. No, I understand. I hear it, too.
What a morning, man.
Oh, is it hard to get in?
Oh, boy.
Oh, good. I'll take Service Streets home. I'm going to take Service Streets home. Such is the luxury of being in Waltham. Oh, I see.
So bad I had to stop at McDonald's for iced coffee, which is milk.
Yeah, that looks like you could have told me that's a vanilla milkshake. I would have believed you. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Well, it hurts